Right, on John Key's comments in the last day or so about taking down the temperature on race relations, I mean, I largely agree with him, right? I think everybody needs to tone this stuff right down on what they say about race relations at the moment because, as we know, race relations is really inflammatory. It really upsets people. And when I say that I agree with him, I'm looking at the Māori Party predominantly right now because from what I can see, no one else in parliamentary politics is as reckless and inflammatory as these guys are. I mean, they're using words like genocide. They're telling people when they think that the people are not Māori enough, how offensive. And they're using images of handguns in their social media. I mean, they are the ones who are whipping this up the most. So when we say turn down the rhetoric, tone it down, it's really them who need to be doing it the most. But where I part with John Key is the sense that I don't think he just means that we should take down the temperature on what is said. I think he also is saying we need to take down the temperature on what is done. I mean, he's openly critical of the Treaty Principles Bill, and I get the sense from him that he's also advocating basically for the government to start pulling back on what it's doing in this space as well to take down the temperature, and I could not disagree with him more. This stuff needs to be done. I mean, sometimes you have to do stuff that is uncomfortable, right? This stuff needs to be done. Māori wards on councils without democratic process around that, it actually, to avoid democratic process, let's be honest about it, is a bad idea. That needs to be removed. Section 7AA in the Oranga Tamariki Bill is basically a treaty principle which needs to be removed from the law because otherwise we will continue to see little Māori kids being removed from stable, loving homes just because their foster parents are Pākehā, the wrong ethnicity. I find that offensive and also really upsetting for the children. The Marine and Coastal Areas Act needs to be amended to force judges to do what the law says because you can't have judges doing the opposite of the laws, what the law says just because they prefer it that way. I mean, there is a long list of stuff that just has to be done. And you can't not do this stuff because some people want to shout it down. If you end up doing that, right, if you end up letting them shout it down, all that you end up doing is doing nothing. And then you tell the shouters that, you know, they will win. If they want to shut something down in the future, just shout out some violent things and we'll stop doing it. Now, I don't blame John Key for taking this approach because this is the approach that he took in government, right? For all of his success with the economy and the finances there, and there were many successes there, he wasn't very bold when it came to awkward stuff like race relations. I mean, race relations, I get the feeling he actually tried to actively avoid it because icky things like that cost political capital and he would much rather just be in government. Luckily for him, he was the Prime Minister at a time when he could afford to do that. He came before Jacinda Ardern, not after Jacinda Ardern and all the trouble that her government created. It's a different time now. It calls for boldness. Sure, I would like everyone to be careful in the language they use, but I don't want them to cower from a job that needs to be done.